Oil drilling, it's a big issue. And 81 days, I think, we're in this.
It is, and we have to recognize that, look, we've had an accident. That doesn't mean we should stop drilling for oil. We still need to drill for oil, but we need to do so in an environmentally safe way. And the problem in the Gulf was a failure of regulation, a failure of regulatory bodies, because there was a $450,000 valve that if BP had put that on this pipeline, they could have turned this off on day one. But instead, BP came to the government and asked for a waiver for this in the week before this rig went operational, and the government granted it. So this was a failure of our regulations. And what we actually need is we need to have stringent environmental regulations on oil drilling. We do. This is a place where the government has a role. But President Obama, in saying we should stop all oil drilling, let's put a moratorium on it for 6 months, that's an overreaction. Because if we're going to solve our energy crisis, we absolutely need alternatives like solar power, wind power, but we can't do anything in the short term unless we get off foreign oil, and the easiest way to do that is to increase our domestic oil production.
It is a catch-22, though, isn't it? I mean, I got to be honest, because I was on this show, I was drill, baby, drill. And I'm telling you, this thing that's happening in the Gulf is taking my breath away. You know, it's just hideous to see what's happening. And you know, the biggest, and I know I'm not running for anything here, but just throw this out there, but the biggest statistic I had is when the hurricane came through and all those oil rigs were out there, not a drop of oil was lost. But here we got this thing down at the bottom of and we can't plug it. Right.
Well, here's the issue. Yes, it's a tragedy. I think it's been compounded by the fact that the administration's been dragging their feet. They've been pontificating but not allowing things to actually happen. The EPA was stopping skimmers because they felt that a 1% oil saturation in the water output was too high. Well, I think 1% in the water is better than 90%. And we can't lose sight of the fact that the reason we're drilling in such deep water is because the environmentalists are continually pushing us further and further offshore. So when you get into a mile deep water, the engineering challenges and the environmental challenges are exponentially greater. If this exact accident had happened on land, it would have been contained in 12 hours. And the fact is, you know, the president wants us to increase our supply of alternative energy. Well, alternative energy technology is not there to support our demands. So we have enough natural energy reserves, oil shale, coal, natural gas, that we can be a net exporter of energy. It's very simple. We can drill in a very small footprint and extract oil from a very large footprint underground and protect the environment. We can create millions of jobs in this country in a span of 10 years.
Okay, Al, you have a follow-up, but we're on as well. Go ahead, Rick.
Oh, you can just go to Mr. Torres first. Mr. Torres, please.
I like energy. We're using it right now. We can't get around it. You know, I had a fella that his office was next to mine, and he painted his whole card, "Go to hell, BP," and, you know, you're killing all the animals and this and that. And the irony is that it's on his car. You know, if he was on a horse, I wouldn't mind, but he's in his car, okay? So what's the point? The bottom line is regulations, more stringent regulations. The reason that BP got away with it is because they could. And when a regulator comes in and some big shot comes in and somebody has political influence, they go to that regulator and say, "That's a good friend of mine, take care of him," okay? That's the problem with having politicians involved with regulations. Okay, so that BP got away with murder because they could. And you make it more stringent, they'll get away with that as well. Now, force people. The answer is don't make us go out into a 1 mile deep water zone. Let us drill where we can drill safely. That's what should have happened. If we had been in 300, 400 feet of water, you can send men down there. In a mile deep, you can't send anything down there. But I'll have you know one thing, and this is from a science standpoint. I don't think that we've put the brightest minds on this job. If I were the President of the United States and this happened under my watch, I would have had an immediate conference in Louisiana. I would have brought the brightest minds in the world, and I'd have shipped them in for free, and I paid them whatever they had to be paid out of BP's money. But we would have put the brightest minds on this immediately. But we haven't done that. 80 somewhat days out, we still haven't done that.
What's your scientific background? What are your
I have a degree from Washington University in St. Louis in biochemistry, microbiology, UConn Health Center in biogenetics, yada yada.
All right. Al, you had a follow-up.
Just once again, in terms of the Environmental Protection Agency, Mr. Merkel said that he would like to eliminate it in regards to this oil spill. I just want to find out the other candidates' view on this. Do you support eliminating the Environmental Protection Agency, yes or no?
No. I actually do believe the federal government does have a role in protecting our environment. And whereas the EPA can be streamlined in a lot of areas, I do believe we should have that at the federal level.
All right.